Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 10 debate. Release Negan now. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. That's going to be our central theme. Some good stuff happening this week. I got a big announcement for tomorrow. We are going to double stream. I'll talk about that in 1 second. I got news coming in from all over the place. Before we get started, special shout out to the 999 Patreon Army. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. Amazing group of people right there. They do so much for this channel. You guys absolutely rock. So there you see some of the new posters that are out. I know last night we didn't talk Fear the Walking Dead, so we got Fear the Walking Dead mid-season finale. We've got our very own Walking Dead nerd out at San Diego Comic-Con, Joey the Gator, out there as well. So several people. Next year, that's going to be many of us. So I'm hoping to see each and every one of you out there to hang out, to mingle 3 or 4 days. San Diego Comic-Con 2020, we're going to be out there just rocking that place. We're going to have a good time. So I do have some really good Q&A. Walking Dead Nerd was able to get some autographs from Robert Kirkman, ask some questions from Robert Kirkman about the comic, about the history. But we also, there's news coming out about Negan, and Angela Kang is just spilling the beans all over the place. She gives us some really good information. And let's talk about tomorrow, because you guys know tomorrow is one of my favorite streams. We do Freestyle Friday. But at 5 o'clock tomorrow is when the Walking Dead Season 10 teaser trailer comes out. So that's at 5 o'clock. That'll be released on AMC site, Walking Dead's YouTube page, all of those things. And at 5:30 tomorrow, we're going to do a 999 Army trailer reaction video. So you guys watch it at 5 o'clock and then log on here. We'll spend 10-15 minutes talking about the trailer. It's going to be a good time. By that point, I only have a chance to watch it 2 or 3 times. So there's going to be things and clues in there that we're just going to have to decipher. Holly Pierce super chatting, and thank you, Holly. Hi, everyone. Can't wait until tomorrow. I know it's starting to feel, isn't it starting to feel like September to you guys? And what I mean by that is a couple weeks to hype before The Walking Dead. I know October sort of takes care of itself, but even though we're in the middle of the summer, we're starting to feel like we're getting all that news and all that good information is starting to gradually come out. I'm excited. Can you guys hear it? Do I sound a little bit more 999 Army, kill shot, Walking Dead-ish? During the summer we have a good time, but it's more flip-flops and hanging back. Now it's like theories, predictions. Let's see it. Let's get the information. Let's break it all down. That's what I'm looking forward to. So I'm anxious tomorrow to see how dark the trailer is going to be. I think it's going to be very dark. Even looking at this poster, there's a lot that we can make out of this, and we're going to talk about each one of the characters here in a couple of seconds. After we do the 5:30 reaction video, Andy 317, thank you so much for that super chat. Appreciate it, my man. Thanks for your support to the channel. We are still doing our 8 o'clock Freestyle Friday. Now, during Freestyle Friday, you better believe that there's going to be references to the trailer. So catch it at 5 o'clock. If you don't get a chance to watch it at 5 o'clock, and hang out with us and then watch it afterwards, because we're still going to do our regular Kills Coins and Freestyle Friday. We haven't given away a lot of Kills Coins this week. So you know what I'm going to do tonight is we're randomly going to pick a couple. Kel is here, so we're going to have the ledger working, because I want to have some Kills Coins going in tomorrow night. If you guys don't know what a Kills Coin is during our Freestyle Friday, we do a lot of back and forth, a lot of super chats, a lot of putting people on the spot, and a Kills Coin is just one of those where you can do a free super chat, you can subject change, or call on someone else. So Kel, let's give away 3 or 4 tonight. We'll come up with something. I don't have like a contest planned. But, all right, let's talk about Negan. So we have been really in front of this for a long time. Not just that Negan would be accepted, but the various themes of how it would go down. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to read an article. I'm not going to read the whole article. I won't bore you guys with all of that. But I'm going to give you the highlights of what Angela Kang had to say just a couple days ago about our very own Negan. And I'm going to quote. So this is Angela Kang. She says, "We had a whole year with Negan in a cell. So I think after his heroic rescue of Judith, people might have noticed that he was on the bed and he was not tied up or cuffed, So we're dealing with the next stage of what things are for Negan. I think people who have been wanting us to release the Negan, there will be some satisfaction there. And that is an exact quote. So the icing on the cake, the cherry on top, was exactly almost like a prophecy that we said in order for Negan to get his full get out of jail free card, to get his pass, he would have to do something pretty amazing, like rescue Judith. And lo and behold, he rescued Judith. So I don't know exactly whether that was me, us, it's us. It doesn't matter. I probably read it or said it, or it was on one of our streams. But if you guys, that is something that we were out in front of probably 2 months before it happened. No spoilers. Very much like the Simon death. So how we sort of broke that down and the way it worked out, very, very impressed with this group of people. Just, there's just moments. Now, what still blows my mind is when things happen and we've been exposed to it for 2 or 3 months, what's one of the first things that others say that are joining the streams? They say, oh, well, yeah, that was obvious. It was going to happen. It had to happen that way. But I remember the resistance that we got when we threw that theory out there. There's no way Negan's going to save Judith. Negan's a traitor. He's not going to help anybody. He's only after himself. They're going to let him out of the cell. He's going to escape. He's going to go kill some more people. Right? I mean, that's a lot of what we heard when we threw that theory out there that Negan was going to have to save Judith. So the way it went down, you guys are like CSI. You guys are amazing. You funneled the heck out of that. All right. But let me don't get too excited just yet. There's a follow-up to it. So it's still going to be a little bit dicey. So what that means is, it means that even though, well, before I read the next part of Angela Kang's interview, let me kind of refresh and go back to what we predicted. Many of us predicted. Some haven't totally got on board with it yet, but you will soon. Oh, there she is right there. Hold on. Can we get a super special shout out for Walking Dead Nerd? Walking Dead Nerd has been posting pictures on our Facebook page, sending me some top secret intel from Robert Kirkman, among others. And she did it last year as well. So this is 2 years in a row that she has been our official woman in the field, representing the 999 Army. So I got a question. And there she is. She's like, hi, guys. I'm in Hall H line now. Service isn't that great. So I got a quick question. How many people here are going to meet the Walking Dead Nerd next year in San Diego? Just a quick show of hands if you're planning on attending. I see a few. And by the way, I'll be there. So I'm looking forward to meeting each and every one of you that get the chance to make it out there. We're going to do a 999 Army representation dinner. We'll do something. We'll have some fun with it. But thank you so much, Walking Dead Nerd. Appreciate everything that you're doing out there, all the information. I know it's a blast. So many things to do. So really, really excited with that. So even the stream that we did 2 days ago, we did a stream on Tuesday, and we made some bold predictions, but there were some deep psychological predictions that we made. So part of what we talked about is how it is now going to be a necessity for the group to maybe trust is the wrong word. Because I don't think they have full trust. I'm looking for a specific type of behavior. The group is going to have to accept Negan, I guess. They're going to have to just deal with the fact that he was who he was. Now he is on their team. But you got to be honest here. You've seen the brutality of Negan. You know why he was what he was. You've seen him locked up. So I'm going to, to the last few people that haven't fully embraced the fact that Negan is going to be released and he's going to fight. With what we're facing with Alpha right now, those of you that don't like Negan, would you rather Negan be on your side, or would you rather he be one additional person that you got to fight when you're trying to fight Alpha? That would make the odds insurmountable. It's going to be hard enough to beat Alpha as it is. So for the last few people that are just barely holding on and said, no, I just don't ever want to deal with him, think about dealing with Alpha and Negan. So you certainly need him. But the reason I bring this up is because we also funneled down a very bold prediction and said, Negan will not be the hero. He's got too much baggage. He's got too many demons that he can't be the person walking around with Lucille that the people from Alexandria are going to accept. We're going to give Negan a different level of appreciation than Carol is, than Maggie is, than Daryl is. They're going to allow him to help. But with us, we've already pretty much given him a little bit of a pass because we see the relationship with Judith and some of the other things. We've warmed up to him a little bit. But he still could not turn on the group, but he still could become a little bit unreliable in the future. Just keep that stored. I don't think he's going to be the leader. I don't think they're going to trust him that much. I don't think he's going to be openly accepted. And I don't think they want to totally get rid of his sarcasm and his wit. All right? So I'm glad most of you agree because we've been making that prediction for a long time. And here's what Angela Kang had to say on exactly that topic. Of course, that doesn't mean that Negan has done a complete do-gooder 180. While he may be on a different path, there are still flashes of the rude and crude charm. Angela Kang said, Negan's story is one of my personal favorites in this season. Things get complicated because it's Negan. Some of the stuff Jeffrey Dean Morgan is doing is so compelling because he's this guy who's been on this path of trying to redeem himself in some way, but he's still Negan. He's not the hero. At best, an anti-hero, but there's definitely darkness and an edge to him. So, I think the darkness and the edge can be utilized. I think it's what it's going to take to beat Alpha. So, does Negan seem like the kind of person that is going to be traumatized this season or paranoid this season? Just want to throw this question out there to the Army because I'm pretty sure 99% of the people here are going to say no. But if the underlying story of this season is trauma and paranoia, then it's going to take, in a weird sort of way, two things have to happen. And before I give you those two things, everybody do me a favor here. We got a lot of people here, a lot of hype around Comic-Con. Give me a thumbs up. If you guys are hyped about this trailer tomorrow, if you like what we're talking about, if you're having a good time, then make sure you pike that like button. So here's the two things, and I know you guys are going to do it. I trust you. So I'm going to go ahead and do it in advance. Actually, I'm going to give a kills coin to the first person that can get both of my scenarios that I'm thinking about right now of what it's going to take. Got some people saying Judith. What it's going to take to overcome the odds. What it's going to take to get this battle going back. Amy Ferreira says someone dying. Judith in danger. Kels, let's give a kills coin to Darkstar 999. Judith hurt, kidnapped, people dying. It's a nice two-part. Not exactly what I'm thinking of, but I'm going to give away a few kills coins. I just want to get some good ideas in here. Jim says, keep Judith safe and make amends with Maggie. I don't agree he'll fully make amends with Maggie, but Jim, I like the theory. So, Kels, can we give Jim 09 a kills coin as well? Gina Crockett says that people are going to have to start to trust Negan. And I'm going to give away one more kills coin. And whether I agree with you or disagree with you, give me some of your best ideas, because I'm going to give you what I think, the way I think it's going to go down. Ella Smith Jr. says, a reason to live to belong. Partially. Kel, go ahead and give Ella Smith Jr. a kills coin as well. So it should be 4. All right, so here's kind of the way I think it's going to play out. Is, as Angela Kang said, the group is suffering. Someone sent me a really, really good theory. I'm going to read this to you. And some of you might have mentioned this, and if you did, totally cool. I may have missed it. But I will get into the two things, but this is Jasmine Paris. So Jasmine Paris sent me a message, said, hey Kills, I'm a big fan, and I have a scenario that is worse than taking Rosita's baby and killing her. So obviously, Jasmine was listening in. And first of all, I want to thank you for being a big fan. But this is her scenario. How about if they kidnap Rosita, let her deliver the baby, keep it, and they allow her to leave and just return to Alexandria? The whole group would not just be traumatized, but have a constant simmering of trauma. Also, knowing the baby's alive and Alpha has it makes it harder for them to retaliate. Alpha knows this type of pain is worse than the second pike or just killing anyone from the group. That's pretty damn good. I love it. Because I think it checks every box there. Rosita's taken, takes her baby, and now what? You can't do nothing because we got your baby. We got this constant threat. And even though you're in this constant pain, knowing that you don't have it, you can't really do anything about it. So I thought it was a pretty awesome theory. Not taking credit for that, but see, that's the type of stuff that, I get throughout the day. I get some really good conversations. Look, a lot of people are saying, hey, I can see that happening. Exactly, Steph. It's the leverage. Baby to replace Lydia, right? She lost Lydia now. We're going to raise, according to Alpha, raise her the right way. So they do have some leverage. So here's, and if that were to play out, that would definitely be a part of kind of my overarching theory, is that the group is in trauma because of something like that or some event that happens. Could be a second pike, could be a kidnapping, could be a death, anything along those lines. But regardless, the group is dealing with stuff. Negan's not. So, one, an event has to happen to trigger. But Negan could be the person to convince people not to give up. Now, in a weird sort of way, he would be leading without being the leader. And I think that is, I know it's semantics and I know it's a fine line, but it's the type of thing that I think the people in Alexandria would accept, and I think it's the kind of thing that the audience would accept. Look, you're not going to be the general and we're not going to march in and follow you, but he could certainly be the person to say, look at the way all of you are living. This is not living. And alleviate some of that trauma and be sort of the driving force, the person that's getting them hyped up to fight. That's number one. And number two, Negan giving himself a stake in the game. Him fighting when he did not lose anything personally. Him fighting for someone else, I think, is all the additional incentive that the group might need to accept him. And to a degree, to trust him. Trust him to fight, not trust him to lead. So I'm really anxious to see this play out. And everything that I've seen from Angela Kang, there's two things that I've seen them really hype up. One is Michonne's exit and her story. And number two, the Jeffrey Dean Morgan part. I know Daryl's a big part of it. He's a star of the show. I know Carol, 3-year contract. She's a star of the show. But I haven't heard a lot about Daryl and Carol. I know they're going to be there, but it seems like all the spotlight and all the attention so far this year is on giving Michonne the proper exit and the redemption of Negan. Now, to whatever degree you want to say he's redeemed. Doesn't have to be 100% redeemed, but he's needed. Julia, I'm sorry, it wasn't even Julia. Julie and Julia typed back to back. Julie McGuire said, think Michonne will die. I don't. I feel as confident that Michonne lives as I was that Rick Grimes lived. And I said if there was anything in The Walking Dead that I was 100% certain was going to happen, is that Rick Grimes was going to remain a part of the Walking Dead universe in some capacity. And I think Michonne will be a big, big part of the trilogy of the movies. That it won't just be about Rick surviving and adapting. It's going to be about Michonne's journey to find him. And I still think she's taking RJ. And I think she's leaving Judith. And I think that's going to be the ultimate sign of trust, is to leave Judith under the indirect supervision of Daryl and Negan. almost to a point where Judith's mostly taking care of herself with a little bit of oversight. All right. This, I don't think is a spoiler, but it is a strong rumor that I've heard from multiple sources. It is a Fear the Walking Dead spoiler, so if you guys would like that information, might be something you already know, but we did miss our Fear the Walking Dead chat, so we'll throw some conversation out there around that. I mean, if we could get the other people to hit the like button, I mean, half the audience is hit. I'd love to see everybody else hit it, and then we could unveil this. Now, I don't know it's true, so take it for what it's worth. This is not a confirmed source. All right. So, I have been given information that Alicia was seen filming in episode 15. Now, that may not be a big deal for some of you, but what it would suggest is she doesn't die anytime soon. Now, look, I'm not saying it's true. Nope. Jack, that's not what I'm saying either. I'm not saying that she lives. But if that is the case, then her dying at the nuclear power plant to save the group to buy them a little bit more time, because that's what I predicted last week. I thought, you know what? Let her go out literally in a blaze of glory. Let her go save the group. But do not hold me to this because, like I said, this is not a confirmed source, but I've heard that she was filming up to at least episode 15. Yeah, Ron, here's the thing. And Ron, I appreciate that answer. She could be filming a flashback scene. And that, no offense, but that is an overused, I mean, we heard that so much last year, right? When we said, well, Rick was filming in this scene. And people said, no, he might have died in episode 3 and it was a flashback. So I don't think there's as many... First of all, I don't want to see an Alicia flashback, to be honest. And I think I got a pretty good pulse of what the fans want. If she lives, she lives. If she dies, kill her. But they might be dragging the sickness out a little bit. I mean, if there's some cure out there, then fix her. You know, fix her. But here's what I would like to see them do. If they're going to fix Alicia's health, then for the love of God, fix the fact that she, always refers to Madison and always gives a Morgan speech. Make her, heal her, and then make her the leader she could have been at the beginning of the season. But please don't subject us to some of this lack of character that they've been forcing on us lately, because they're ruining her legacy. I for one like Alicia. I did like Alicia coming into the season. Some of you didn't. Some of you thought, yeah, she's worn on me. I've had it. But I could see some leadership, and I could see if they wrote it the right way, she could be a character that I could follow. Not anymore. No. I would follow June before Alicia right now. So I would rather they just kill her off quickly if they're going to. But that's a lot of episodes. Talk about another 8 episodes. And, they really have zoomed in on that muffler that she carries, her weapon. I don't feel like the muffler has the same effect as Michonne's katana. And I think the way they do it, they show her like, she pulls it out like, shoo. Yeah, Alicia's getting ready to fight. But, yeah. She's not as tough as Michonne. I'm just catching up on a couple comments here. You guys crack me up. There's been a lot of references. Also, some more news. There is a new pic of Eugene talking on the radio. So we knew we were going to get another reference to Commonwealth. A lot of references to Commonwealth this season. I think it came out today, by the way. So a lot of new stuff hitting. The posters, the panels, the trailers coming out tomorrow. It's comic arc. Yep. Yeah, I'm really anxious to see the trailer because I'm hoping it's one of the darkest, most sinister trailers we've ever seen. But if we get a Rick Grimes voice over the radio and Michonne is just preparing, how many people think that we might get to hear Rick on the radio? And that's what really gives Michonne the hope. Like, all we got to do is just clear these whispers and then I can be on my way. Too soon, Jason? Angel says, I hope so. Julia Muse, please, Lord. Where's June Smith? June Smith would be all over this one. Tyler Birdman says, a hint of Rick. Don't know how. I am still going to go out on a limb here. And when we do the reaction video tomorrow night or tomorrow evening, just remember my super bold prediction. And if it doesn't happen, I will publicly acknowledge it didn't happen. There's June Smith. Hello, Army. I would lose my mind if I hear Rick's voice. Oh, music to my ears. So thank you for that, June. One of the things that I think is going to happen that we said in a previous stream, I think we're going to see some dark, twisted alpha scenes, and I think we're going to see Negan with Lucille. I'm going to say they always have a signature moment. Signature moment could be Eugene hearing a voice on the radio. It could be a whisper situation. But I think Negan with Lucille and how the audience reacts to that, and what people on YouTube have to say, it's a dicey topic. Not everybody just wants Negan to walk around with Lucille after what happened with Glenn. But I do think that fits into the character arc and the storyline that Angela Kang talked about, is we're still going to see Negan be Negan. So, got a question for the group. And I want you to think about this for a second. What did you think about Morgan? And when he told Grace he was picking up the stick and he needed kind of that stick to have the right answers and to speak to the group. Now, I know you didn't love the speech. I didn't like the speech either. But I'm just talking about the symbolism of and the importance of Morgan needing that. Okay. Let me give you another example. What would you think of Michonne with a pistol? Is Michonne walking around using a handgun? Be weird, wouldn't it? Okay. June Smith says, Kills, I do hope Negan steps up his game and be a man and help our people out. I really do. It would make The Walking Dead good. It's a good point. June, you set that up perfectly for me. Jason says something. This is really awesome. Jason, mixologist. Lucille was replaced by Judas, so Negan doesn't need her anymore. I think that's an awesome statement. I don't know if I fully agree, though, Jason. I love it, but there's just this one part of me. I don't know what it is. Maybe my own. I'm a little hard-headed. Ray Beard, was that for Jason, mixologist? Yeah. Kel, can we give Jason a Kills coin? Love the statement. I don't have to 100% agree with it to love it. And here's a question I want to ask. And, maybe I can be convinced to 100% agree with it. But before I go down that road, if many of you said you'd rather have Negan on your team than to fight against Negan, so we agree with that. If Negan does not have... Let's take Judith out of the equation just for a minute. And I'll get to that. We will get back to that. So pretend Jason didn't say that just yet. It's going to be tough, right? Strike that comment from the jury. If you were fighting and Negan is right by your side, and you know this guy fighting is going to give you 60% of his effort. He just doesn't have the heart, doesn't have the motivation, doesn't have the drive. He's still a good fighter, better than most. But you could hand him this bat, and you're going to get a wild man. You're going to get a man that is going to be motivated, destroy people, take out Beta. I mean, whatever he can do. Like superhuman type of stuff. What are you going to do? Amy Ferreira says, I'm going to give him the bat. So, I need to know you personally. Your group's in trouble. This bat has some bad memories with you. But you got this guy beside you that you know you can motivate to a different level. Jack Carr says, I'm giving him Lucille. Hand him the bat, says Jennifer. Give him Lucille. Lynn Nesbitt says, nope, still not giving Lucille. So, Lynn, question for you. If you and Negan were fighting side by side, and your life was at risk, and it greatly increased the odds that this man could protect you, or help protect you, or help fend off the enemy, you still wouldn't let him use Lucille. You rather just go down, take you down, no hope, no chance, no possibility. See, we've been saying release the Negan for a while, but I think the next thing that is going to come out of it is people are going to say, give him the bat. Just give him the bat. So, and I'm not totally going to single Lynn out. She says, no, just the thought of Lucille makes me cringe. Fair enough. Bad memories. But does the thought of Alpha decapitating you and putting your head on a pike, does that make you cringe a little bit too? It makes me cringe. I got to hand the man his bat. If it increases my odds, and it's going to be my head that's going to be up there talking to you whenever you walk up the hill, see, Alpha's a whole new level. And this is why I want to kind of push you guys to your limits a little bit. Lynn, I'm right there with you. I got some of the worst visuals of Abraham and of Glenn. Not as much Abraham. I loved Abe, but Abe was willing to take one for the team. He's willing to die for the group. The Glenn thing just bothered me so much, and the way they wrote that character. I can't explain it. But I've kind of 7 years later, time skip, I've moved on to the next evil. And the next evil really needs to be Alpha. And see, that's really my point. Is because they didn't make Alpha so vile and they didn't show a lot of the torture and other stuff, I still think in some people's minds that Negan is a worse villain than Alpha, not because of what we did, it's because of what we saw. We should have seen Alpha kill Henry, Alpha kill Ozzy, Alpha kill Tara, to really set it in our mind how much we hate this lady. And I agree with you 100%, Lynn. Lynn says, I still get goosebumps when I think of Glenn and Abraham. And I don't get goosebumps when I think of Alpha, but I should. I should, of all the stuff she's done, she's far worse than Negan. But we don't see it and we don't feel it because we didn't see it. Which furthers my point. They need to really get their horror. The Walking Dead is not just about relationships and survival. There is a horror element to it. There is a vile, and this year they're going with the psychological elements. But we still need the visual element to really turn us off to this character. Alpha needs to do some dark, twisted stuff. I agree, Barb Berlin. They made Alpha not scary. RTD Slayer, I feel like Negan will show his past self and Judith will monitor him and make sure he doesn't go back to the old him. I agree with that. I don't think he'll do anything, but I think he'll make some suggestions that'll be borderline. Maybe a leadership suggestion that could be borderline. And we're always going to have some of our groups going to say, I knew it. You know, he can't be trusted. He's going to want to lead. And I think that would be a good way to write it into him. Don't write him to where he becomes a Boy Scout. Don't write him to where he's 100% reformed. Write him into where he still has his dark side, he still has his character, but he's got something else to fight for. Like a Judith. And, you know, once again, if I give you two examples, example A, you tell me which example is a little bit more creepy. Here's example A. All right, that's A. In example B, your people killed our people. There will be conflict. They could have had Samantha Morton pull off any other voice in the history of television that would have been more creepy than that voice. That's exactly the point. Newfield said, no offense, but when I do Alpha's voice, it isn't scary. No. And when I hear Alpha talk, it isn't scary. It's just, yeah. I mean, calling Lydia Bug. Now, the way you may not agree with this, and I'm going to give a kills coin. If anyone, the first person to tell me what I thought was the most twisted part of Alpha last year. There was something that Alpha articulated, which was the moment that I was like, that's what they need to do. Not the baby. Not when she slapped her daughter. You're going to have to think into this one. Exactly. Kel's on point here. Kel, give yourself a kills coin on the ledger. When Alpha told the story about Lydia being like 3 years old and going in the closet and having the plastic wrapped around and she couldn't breathe, and she was debating whether or not to help her. You know, like, she's getting some kind of twisted, sick enjoyment of deciding, do I want this kid? Do I not want this kid? That is some stuff that is not made for television. That is some sick, twisted stuff. We didn't see it, but hearing that is something that's kind of taboo, right? Like, oh, okay, you just want your daughter to suffocate and you don't care? But that part, that's the part really creeped me out about her. So if I can see Alpha taking that to a different level, you know, sneaking in to the fair, not really scary to me. Now, wearing the woman's face or her scalp, yeah, that's a little twisted. But if we could have seen maybe Tara begging for her life, Henry begging for his life, and her just doing it anyway, that would have been up there with some Glenn mode. So I think we need her to be scary. And the more scary she is, the more Negan becomes essential. And one thing that I like to do is I always like to put myself, not just as a viewer, but if I was a character on The Walking Dead, how would the actions and the things that I witness affect me, right? And I think as a writer, that's your challenge, is you have to say, is it real enough to the people who are in the show that it would be real enough to the people watching? So once again, when they use buzzwords like traumatic, PTSD, paranoia, if I just see a character that's paranoid and I don't feel like the events truly would push the person to paranoia, it's not real, it's not believable to me. And I think that's one of the problems with fear compared to The Walking Dead, is fear puts you in a situation and they make you just accept the situation. The Walking Dead has always done a tremendous job of validating it and making it real to you, right? So an example. We got into the psyche of Negan, and maybe too far into the psyche of Negan. But there's no villains on Fear the Walking Dead we've ever really gotten into the psyche of. They just kind of push them on you, and then, this one doesn't work, let's kill them off. This one doesn't work, and it's kind of trial and error. So one of the things that I'm most looking forward to is, and I don't want to take it out of context, because if Angela Kang says the words to me, PTSD, trauma, paranoia, I assume it's a big, big topic. And you just don't show, they're just not going to show Rosita like, oh my God, what was that noise? What was that noise? You got to show what puts her in that state. Now, you'll see where I'm going with this in a second. Who could put Rosita into a state of paranoia? Who could put other characters, like an Ezekiel, or like a Eugene, or other people, into a traumatic state? Well, right, obviously the Whispers, or Alpha. But based on what we saw last season, some of you are saying Negan. All right, I'm a little confused. For those of you that said Negan, did you guys see Negan last season? You talk about somebody going from vicious killer to a tame rabbit. If I was in Alexandria and Negan was in Alexandria, I would have zero fear of Negan. Negan rose to power. He had a whole lot of people around him protecting him. He was an adequate fighter, but certainly not Superman. And he got taken down. So there's zero reason to fear Negan at this point. His character's not even at that level. So my point is if the group is in a state, well, Negan's not going to be the one causing trauma and paranoia because all you got to do is just throw him back in jail. His storyline is going to be to help you against the person that's out there doing these things, sneaking up on you, infiltrating your base, kidnapping your people, decapitating people, putting them on spikes. That's Alpha. That is Alpha and only Alpha. But I want to tie the two thoughts together. And Julia, he can be cocky, but I know a lot of people that are cocky that I'm not afraid of. That doesn't... I know a lot of people are cocky that don't make me paranoid. Case in point, these people have lived with Negan for 7 years and they weren't paranoid. They were like, oh my God, I wonder if Negan got out of his cell last night. What's he going to do? That's not cause for alarm. But Alpha, based on what she's already done, based on what we think she's going to do, take all of those things that we're expecting out of Alpha and tie it in with Angela Kang's exact words. And you can't just gloss over these words. Traumatic. Paranoid. It takes a lot to make a person paranoid, like somebody's going to crawl in my window. Somebody's going to come in and kill me tonight. Somebody's looking for me. It takes a lot to push somebody to that level. I'm not talking about just general safety and concern. I'm talking about literally feeling like you got to look over your shoulder all the time. And those are the things that I really, really would like to see go down in the trailer. A level of evil this season that we've never experienced. So, let me ask the group this question, and it's about legacy. Right? Terminus had a legacy. The governor had a legacy. Negan has a legacy. If the Whispers just kill a few people this season, and it plays out like the comic, and Negan goes over and he cuts Alpha's head off, and the Whisper War ends in episode 9 or 10, was the Whisperer's story arc a success? I want to get your thoughts to that. Angel says, I need really gut-wrenching terror. Coco, they need to be vile. So, based on where we're at right now, my honest opinion, the Jesus death, nah. The border scene, nah. I don't think the Whisper arc has been a success yet. where I'm at emotionally with the Whispers, and it's not just because the season ended and we've had this long layover. I just don't think that it's gotten that pop yet. And if it just goes status quo and it's just average, so Grimes on the radio, and it's fine, but I want to call you out on a couple things because Grimes says, I respectfully disagree. Everything that I heard, Grimes, because I've not read this far in the comics, but everything that people told me coming into this season, kills. Oh man, the Whispers, this is Negan times 100. This is a whole different level. They're the most disgusting, most vile, most evil thing in the history of The Walking Dead. Right? This is all I heard. It has not been portrayed that way on television. Because many of you have even said that the Negan 7-1 scene was more disturbing than the Whisper arc. So my point to this, Grimes, is if you've got one shot at this Whisper story, if you've got one shot of making this epic and permanently ingrained the legacy of the Whispers, and this is something that people are going to walk away from this show in 10 years saying, remember that season with the Whispers? Man, it was so good. They were so evil. Do you guys feel that right now? I mean, maybe I'm somewhat immune to it, but I don't. And that's what I need this season. And I hope that's the message that the writers and Angela Kang got last season, that Alpha's got to take it to a whole different level. Because if you can't nail this Whisper arc, you don't have Rick Grimes coming back. The Commonwealth's going to be a whole different ballgame. Hulk Cigar says they're rushing the entire show. I've heard that. Some people said it felt rushed. And Grimes, I agree. I agree with exactly what you're saying right there. I think season 10 will deliver. I think it will too. But I think it's going to have to deliver a certain way. Jason Mixologist says, kills. Here's a wild theory. What if Judith is the one to give Negan Lucille? Maybe we'll see Lucille with Michonne, makes her final departure on the show, or we'll see a Lucille new trailer. Jason, I like that, and I actually stated that a couple months back. Probably why I love it. That I had said I think Judith is the one who knows where Lucille is. That she has some knowledge of it. And she's kind of kept this. So I'm right here with you wholeheartedly, 100%. I think that's the way it's going to go down. Kind of something like, hey, you might need this. And then her handing the baton over to Negan, I certainly think takes a little bit of the anxiety off, right? Timex says maybe Judith gives it to him and doesn't have the barbed wire on it anymore. to show it's different. I like it. I mean, all these are great options. But I think Lucille is so iconic, and because there's not a finality to it, now, Jason, what if he gets Lucille? Now, think about this from an audience standpoint. And I know this is going to be heartwarming. You guys are going to say, that's so sweet. That's great. And this is kind of Jason's idea. So, Jason, I'm going to take two of your ideas and make them into one heartwarming theory that is going to make our entire 999 audience melt. What if Judith gives him Lucille and he says, well, thank you, little lady, but I don't need this anymore. And he destroys Lucille and says, I got something else to fight for. And he fights for Judith. Right? I mean, does that accomplish everything that we want? We get finality to Lucille. We see he's got his motivation back. It doesn't disturb the audience for the rest of their life. And it's a win-win for everybody. Mushy, but would be better. I love it. I love it. I mean, it's going to make the audience love him. At that point, the last little bit of hanging on, it's like, wow, he is redeemed. He got rid of Lucille. And at some point, it probably wouldn't be a bad thing for him to move on from Lucille. All right, a lot of good theories, a lot of good conversation and good chat around here. So we've given away several Kills coins tonight, so we're going to have a lot of fun with Freestyle Friday tomorrow night. Make one more announcement, then we'll wind us down because we're a little bit over an hour. As you guys know, we do have Fear the Walking Dead mid-season finale coming up Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know it should be action-packed. We're waiting on a really, really solid Fear episode. We've got 5 o'clock tomorrow is the Walking Dead teaser trailer. So it's probably going to be 5 to 6 minutes long. So everybody check that out. And then at 5:30 tomorrow, we're going to do a first reaction, 999 Army first reaction of what we thought about the trailer. Whether we'll hear a voice over the radio, whether we'll get to see Lucille, whether Alpha is going to be up to some sinister stuff. I'm so anxious to talk about what either we've predicted or what they're going to show us. I can't wait. And then tomorrow night at 8, we're going to do Freestyle Friday. There will still be some references to the Comic-Con trailer, but you guys know how Freestyle Friday works. It's going to be very loose, very relaxed, a whole lot of different topics. And I'm also going to post for the Patreons just some things to get some extra Kills coins out there as well. So I want to thank all of you guys for being here tonight. A lot of fun, a lot of hype. One more time, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button if you guys had a good time tonight. Special shout out to all the patrons in top left-hand corner. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you for everything you guys do. Top right-hand corner, you got the channel members, been here for a long time, but we got a whole lot. So everybody on the green team, do me a favor. If you guys could just give a special shout-out to our super fans, Valar and also Lisa Khaleesi. You guys know in a couple weeks we're going to be changing up our super fans again with some brand new emojis. Shout-out to the moderators, best moderators on the entire web and the entire world. If you guys could also shout-out to Emmy, Steph, Tommy, and Kels. The fabulous foursome. That's my crew. That's my team. They do such a good job. Also, Super Chatters, thank you for everything that you guys did tonight. And looking forward to a double stream tomorrow night. And as we get closer and closer to October, you guys can better believe we're going to be doing some daytime streams, some nighttime streams, some weekend streams. We're getting through our summer, and we're getting ready to get into our peak season. So thanks for everything that you guys do. I will talk to you all tomorrow at 5:30. Have a good night. Peace.